Hello, everyone. Welcome to the very first coaching session of 2024. And we are going to dive into the meta of this new season, which might very well change in a few days because there's going to be a patch on Tuesday. And we might get to discuss that at the end of the session, where we'll look at the potential changes and see how they're going to maybe impact some decks. So, for now, let's look at the current situation, which is basically dominated by two decks, but both decks had very different evolutions. InSheNaut was the deck that benefited from Kyra a lot and was the most popular deck for the first few days. The thing is, because we knew InSheNaut, we also knew how to counter it. And so we had Mobius come back, and at some point we also had Legion come back. The thing is, because Mobius is a 3 cost that doesn't really require you to do anything specific, it just brought a lot of decks to come back, and they were just running Legion, and they were just running Mobius. As for Legion, it was more like decks like Lockdown and location happy decks. It was basically lockdown and move. So this is what happened around InSheNaut. The thing with Thanos Blob is that we couldn't really figure it out yet. The deck is just weak to Shang-Chi. That's about it. But it could run Kyra, and we don't really know if that would counter Shang-Chi, but that would be something already. Apart from these two, the metagame was very much just the other, like, usual decks, let's say. Can I just... oh, yeah. Okay. So we have... Loki isn't that popular. Well, actually, no. It's get cards and lockdown and move. And then the metagame is very small at this point. Unless someone is seeing, like, a decent amount of another deck apart from, well, these 4 categories. I personally haven't seen much more than these. And right now, it leads to Thanos Blob being considered the best deck because it still has a little bit of room to evolve, and Thanos being the super flexible archetype that it is, it manages to adapt fairly well, and we'll look at a few lists later on. InSheNaut basically found its best list day 1, which was remove armor, play Kyra, not change anything, and then we're seeing a ton of decks play Mobius. Good cards Darkhawk is playing Mobius, good cards Black Knight is playing Mobius, or Rogue, depending on if the deck can run Mobius or is weak to Mobius. They usually run one or the other. And we're basically seeing Mobius in a lot of decks. As for Lockdown and Move, they're kind of the under the radar kind of deck because they don't play any of the, I don't know if I could say it this way, like top cards, but like very flashy cards. There's no Zabu. There is no specific early cost. Like usually they just run Nebula. So it's more of running like a very synergistic kind of core, when Thanos Blob and good cards is more based on just, I'm gonna develop based on some of the better cards in the game, and usually that is going to be enough. So first, does anyone have a different appreciation of the current metagame or decks that they feel deserve to be added, or
I think the Black Knight deck is one style that I've seen quite a bit of.
well, that's in the good cards. It's just a Zabu deck.
Yeah.
When I refer to the Black Knight deck, I would refer to side. I would refer to something like this, which basically is a good cards deck with the Black Knight synergy. So you could say like good cards Darkhawk is a good cards deck with the Darkhawk synergy. Good cards Ronin. Like, you basically pick Zabu, Miss Marvel, Shang-Chi. If Iron Lad works well with your deck, Iron Lad, Jeff, and the rest is another synergy that is going to be 3 to 5 or 6 cards, and you just mix them together. So we have like Black Knight works, Darkhawk works, Ronin works. Well, you could do it with Lockdown as well, because you can still play Jessica Jones, which works well with Storm. So Miss Marvel works on unplayed locations. You have the good targets for Iron Lad with Doom. Do we have others that work as well? You just go to the tier list. Junk also works this way with, where is it? With something of the sort, where you just same thing. You have Zabu and Sentry to forecast, so it works. That's basically why I wrote like a lot of decks with Zabu, because as long as you have a synergy where there's a forecast, you're probably gonna end up playing Zabu, Shang-Chi, Miss Marvel, and if you can, Iron Lad. Does anyone else have something to add about the current metagame? Alright, then I guess we're gonna move on to the various lists that could exist. So, we are just going to take different kind of decks and we're gonna illustrate them. So, do I need to illustrate InSheNaut, or does everyone knows what we're talking about? Take that as a yes. So, I'm going for the Zabu. Basically, we're just Mobius at this point because it's a good one. Shang-Chi, Marvel. I'll throw an Iron Lad for the sake of it, but it can be bad. It can be removed. And basically, around this core, we can make a lot of decks. So we have Ronin plus Maximus plus Master Mold and Disruption. You can also throw Mystique in because it copies Miss Marvel and that works. Usually these kind of decks. Sorry, I heard.
Jen, the stream is paused.
Stream is paused.
It says stream paused. Dennis, minimize your application. Sit tight.
Oh, because it. Okay. I should be sharing screen.
It's better. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, once we have like basically these 5s plus or minus Iron Lad depending on the decks, the good cards deck is just gonna finish with whatever synergy. So Ronin would do something like this. Where is Master? Here. And then these 4 cards are just gonna be overall like standalone good cards. We can see we have no turn 1s. So amongst the turn 1s, we're gonna have like Spider-Man is decent. Iceman isn't anymore because Mobius is in the meta. Nebula is decent. Echo is still very good because of Echo. Yeah. Echo is very decent because of Miss Marvel. And sometimes you can play Nightcrawler because it's a flexible one that you can move with Miss Marvel. Usually, amongst these 4 or 5 options, you're going to pick from 1 to sometimes up to 3, but usually it's 1 or 2. As for the 6s, typically right now, you're going to have If you already have a 5 like Ronin, you're usually gonna skip another 5. But if you don't have Ronin, it's gonna be Vision or Leech most of the time. And as for 6s, it's going to be Alioth, Magneto, or Doctor Doom, depending on how good you are at seizing priority and whether you want to attack specific lanes or you want to spread around. So this was like the Ronin one. We could make the Darkhawk one, which I'm sure everybody knows about, which is Korg, Rockslide, Black Widow, and Darkhawk. So if we do it this way, what we would be lacking then is a turn 2. Like we have Korg as a 1, we have 2 trees, we don't need anything. We still need a 5 and a 6, so we're gonna go to the normal dilemma, Lich or Vision, if we want to go Disruption or Development. The 6s stay the same, and what we need to find is a 2. And in the 2 cost, we're just gonna add Jeff, and we're gonna be happy most of the time. If you have a deck that could be weak to Shang-Chi, you're gonna add armor. If you're running Shang-Chi yourself, you're not gonna add armor. If you want to be a little better against InSheNaut, you could add Scarlet Witch. And if you're just in need of points, you're gonna add Silk, or you're gonna add a Medusa, a Shadow King, or a Mirage, which also works surprisingly well in the current metagame. So this was basically the good cards deck. Then we have like the lockdown decks, which is kind of a mix with move. This would be the way to build it proactively. So we can see it's basically a good cards deck, except there's no Zabu in it. But the 1 cost are amongst the choices that we talked about. The 2 costs are Jeff, which is arguably the best 2 cost in the game, and 2 of the highest power 2 costs. In the 3, we can see Mobius, because you basically run Mobius anytime you can right now. Storm, because it's part of the synergy. And really, apart from Storm, Nebula, and ways to impact the Storm lane with the move synergy, then we have the usual suspects that we discussed, Vision, Alioth, and Doctor Doom. You could play an anti-InSheNaut version, where you still play a good cards deck, so you have Zabu that is gonna come in. And the idea here is, because you want to play Storm on turn 4, so then you can Legion. On turn 5, you're gonna use Zabu to get your turn 4 in on turn 3. And so your goal is to do something like Nebula into Zabu, into Jones or Marvel, and then you go Storm plus Echo or Storm plus Nebula if you couldn't play Nebula before, and you have Jeff for turn 5. Well, you have Legion for turn 5 and Jeff for turn 5. And this is good because even if you don't get that precisely, because there's a lot of InSheNaut, you have Legion to kill Limbo, even if InSheNaut isn't running too much of Cosmo since Kyra joined the game. So this was the good cards part of the metagame, which came in as an answer InSheNaut, mostly because Mobius is extremely strong against it. Then we have Thanos, and we have literally 25,000 ways of building the deck. So this would be my way, with Okoye being the flexible card. It can be Wave, it can be Mobius, it can be whatever. But basically, at this point, the deck is this, which was the old Thanos Blob way of playing the deck, with Lockjaw added to the mix, because Lockjaw works well with Scar, which is pushing us to play a lot of big cards. It's still not decided or like proven that Scar is needed to the deck, but so far this would be the most popular version. And then this is where Thanos is so hard to counter compared to InSheNaut, and why the metagame isn't moving as fast, because we could only solve like half of it, which is the infinite half. Because once you added Scar, the deck can go a variety of ways. Usually you want 3/5, like the norm for the deck. Vision would be the latest one. I personally like to run Living Tribunal because it's a 6 and it's protected by Kyra, but let's go with, we're playing Vision for now. The last 4 Usually you want a second ramp in addition to Time Stone. So you would either play Wave or Psylocke. Some deck run both. I personally don't like Wave because right now there are too many decks which are playing expensive cards, and there's a lot of Magneto in the metagame as well, so you don't want them to be able to move your Wave, you don't want them to be able to move your Lockjaw early on, which is why I like Psylocke better, and also Psylocke can be thrown behind Lockjaw, and she's a fine turn 2 play, so you can go Lockjaw into Stone. But yeah, if you're not seeing too much of the mirror match or too much of decks with 2 or 3 6-cost cards, you could consider Wave instead of Psylocke. As for the last 3, this is where it's a little different. There is the Killmonger and Death combination, which was mostly added for the mirror match. And usually, if you really want to go hard on the mirror match, the last card is Shang-Chi. That was one of the way the deck was built. If you're not seeing too much of the mirror match, but you're still seeing a lot of one costs, for example, if you're seeing InSheNaut, you're okay to leave Killmonger even if they play Kyra, because through the stones, you should be able to gain priority going into turn 3. You can still play Killmonger before they reveal Kyra. So then you would maybe do something like this. You remove Shang-Chi. It's not useful because your opponent is only going to play targets on the last turn without priority. Instead, you can play a Gladiator, which works pretty well with Death, as it's another destroy. It works pretty well with Blob, because it's a lot of power. You could just build it like a Get Cards deck and add Mobius, or you could change the way you build the deck and remove Death package to play Kyra. Why is this version gaining momentum? Because in the mirror match, if you expect your opponent to play the Killmonger and Death variant, with Kyra, they can only destroy their own cards, and you protect yours. So while they're busy trying to get complicated synergies in the board, you just try to kill them. You just do your own thing, and they're gonna beat you when everything works out, and you're gonna win the average draws, which should happen most of the time. Once you have this, it's kind of still the same equation. Because you have Kyra, you're pressed to go really hard on big cost cards. Some people like to play She-Hulk. Some people like to play Giganto. Some people like to play InSheNaut. At this point, it's really up to you how you want to direct your deck. Personally, when I play Kyra, I really like to play Blue Marvel, because now I have more guarantee that my stones are going to stay in the deck. And because my stones are going to stay in play and not be destroyed, and because of this, I want to give them value with Blue Marvel. Thing is, 4/5 cost is kind of clunky, and I realized that Vision is helpful for Lockjaw, which we're not really helping by removing it, but it's mostly helpful to reach locations which are difficult to play on. And this is where I realized that if I do this, Living Tribunal solves the problem of not being able to play on locations, but also with Blue Marvel on the board, it's a 10 power card that's gonna impact Scar, and it's protected from Shang-Chi with Kyra. And then the last card is basically the same problem as in the other deck. Shang-Chi if you want to edge the mirror match, Mobius if you want to edge Zabu, InSheNaut kind of decks, and I haven't had a chance to test it yet, but I felt like Blue Marvel was doing a good job, so why not Okoye, which is basically Blue Marvel, but I need to draw it on turn 2, and worst case, late in the game, I throw it behind Lockjaw, but that's really the deck looks like this when you want to kind of take the next step in the mirror match. We had the list that just wanted to develop a lot of points, then we had the Killmonger Death list that was trying to counter the list that would develop a lot of points, and then we figured out Kyra was really good to prevent that from happening, and we're building decks based on this now. And that's kind of the whole metagame and the way decks are built. A lot of people are still climbing to infinite and refining decks, so I'm sure things are still going to change. And we have the patch on Tuesday, And this is kind of the interesting part. If we look at it, I had the green light from the developers to be allowed to discuss them, not breaking any rules here. If you look at this patch, you will notice that absolutely nothing concerns Thanos. So, considering this is the deck that people are trying to beat right now, and it's the deck that people can't seem to beat, and we also just discussed how it's probably the most flexible deck in the game, the big question is if this leaks notes are true, because the developers have never confirmed that these are actually true. The only information we had is they made those before they went on holiday mid-December. They never said if they changed anything, and they never said they were not gonna change anything either. But assuming this is true, we're seeing Loki, which isn't seeing too much play right now because stealing cards from InSheNaut is not so good because you don't get the evolved card. Stealing cards from Thanos isn't so good because you can't steal the stones. So if you steal Lockjaw, you don't have that much to throw behind it except your own deck, but you just switch from it. And the big 6 costs are cool, but you can only play 1 per turn, while your opponent can supposedly get 1 on the board for 1 energy. Miss Marvel could be good, but there is something that we can do very easily. And that's something that when I saw the nerf, I was like, alright, cool. But there we go, we solved the nerf to Miss Marvel. We literally have a card that says, when I'm in play, back to the old Miss Marvel, you need 1 card per lane. So considering one of the most basic way to build a deck around Miss Marvel is this. I don't really see how the nerf to Miss Marvel is going to change that much. It's probably going to change a little bit, but honestly, if we just pick, if we just build a deck with those cards, where's Jeff? I have a very, very hard time believing we're not going to trigger Miss Marvel anytime we want, because we have several cards that are movable, so we can manipulate. We could go even further, because we already said Vision as part of the good cards package. So here we still have basically a core that we're already using, and it's kind of making sure Miss Marvel is still working as intended. If I keep going, Annihilus is really, really good. Annihilus is getting hit really hard, but the thing is, in the current metagame, it's not that good, because decks develop very proactively. Annihilus was good at the start of the season, because InSheNaut was slow, and you could fill their lane before they get to play InSheNaut, before they get to play She-Hulk or Hulk. The problem, since we have Thanos, and since we have good cards deck, is those decks don't pass turns. Those decks don't stop. They are gonna play. And if they're gonna play, they could potentially just fill your lanes. So we don't really know where Annihilus stands, but honestly, apart from Junk beating, potentially annoying Thanos, this is a nerf that goes, that is going to help Thanos more than anything. Where are the leaks? Close them? Okay, I closed them. And we're back on. So if we look at Annihilus, the good upside was annoy Thanos, and we already said, for now, Thanos is already the deck to beat. And the only card in this patch which looked like it could annoy Thanos is getting nerfed. Dracula is one that I haven't figured out too much yet, but it just feels like you're gonna get a better Dracula. Like, you get a +1, but it could be that they changed the way it interacts with Apocalypse or something like this. I'm not really sure, but I'm not sure how this is clearly like a different Dracula from what it was in the past. If someone has the explanation to this one or has read something from the dev, I'm really happy to hear it. Angel is better because now it flies off out of your hand. The problem is, if this helps anything, this is gonna help destroy. Well, if we're gonna go back to the Thanos deck, hello destroy, how are you doing? You can do your thing, I'm just gonna do mine. and worst case, we can also play armor. Like, if really destroy becomes a problem, this will be the last card in the deck, because we already said we couldn't figure what the last card in the deck precisely is, and that will solve the problem. So I don't see Angel being a meta savior. Would fit the name, but that's about it. Quake might be a thing, because now you can control how disruptive Quake will be. So that could be a thing in these kind of decks. For example, we could see Quake potentially replace Medusa, or in these ones, which is even more based around using locations. So maybe we could see Quake replace, I don't know, Silk, or I doubt it will replace Jeff ever. But this deck could get buffed, and considering it's already a good deck that could maybe challenge Thanos, but that's not going to change the metagame so much. I mean, it's not going to bring anything new to the table. And the last change is Kingpin, and this is where it's kind of fun, is the deck Quake is the most able to help is an hybrid of Lockdown and Move. Then we have literally a card that says, hey, I'm finally good against Move, or maybe. So thinking that the deck that has the most chances looking at the patch is one that has the Move synergy as a big part of it, and Kingpin potentially coming in as a disruptive card. I'm not really sure. It's probably going to be really good, because now we finally have a counter to Vision and Jeff being in a lot of decks. But still, unless someone can prove me wrong, which I would really like, to be honest, it feels like this patch isn't really addressing Thanos, and that's normal because Thanos appeared after this patch was written. So it's like, at the time this was written, Thanos was still like a normal deck. It was playing Blob, like it was a good deck, but it wasn't the deck that it is now. And I am done talking alone. If anyone has questions, reactions, wants to discuss a certain deck or anything, feel free.
I don't necessarily have a specific deck, but I'm thinking about Spotlight Keys right now and would appreciate the input from y'all. I pulled for oh gosh, what's his name? High Evolutionary, and got him on my first key this week. And I'm like Series 3 complete, not very deep on 4 or 5, and wondering should I keep going for Kyra?
How many keys do you have?
0, but like I can blow some credits. I've got like 7,000 credits.
Okay, well, one key, I think it's 6,000 something.
Mhm.
Let's say you have one key, maybe two by the time the reset comes around. It depends if there are other cards this month that value more than Kyra. I could pull them out. But right now, honestly, if my assessment of the patch is right, and Thanos actually ends up being the best deck, you probably want Kyra because it's going to protect most of your cards from
Yeah, it kind of looks like we're hedging towards a big stuff meta.
Yeah, and so Kyra would be a really good card to have in a big stuff meta. But if I'm just schedule, Hercules is widely regarded as a very difficult card to leverage, and it feels too expensive for the move synergy. But if it works, it's probably going to push even more of a big cards metagame, because it's going to help make huge Iron Torch, a Human Torch. It's going to make help like big Cravens, Daggers, Vultures, these kind of cards, or a Phoenix, which kind of works with Human Torch, multiple men, like the move synergy. So if the card works as people see it work, it's just gonna push new decks, but with the same intent of developing more points than their opponent, which will make Shang-Chi and Shadow King better. So Kyra will still have interest against Shang-Chi. If it's more of Shadow King, Kyra will lose interest. Mayik is a card that could change the meta if it helps Discord Dracula come back. Because Discord Dracula doesn't care one bit about Shang-Chi. And that card would be much weaker to Shadow King than it is to Shang-Chi. So,
But he's a Series 4, right? I think he's probably going to be a token buy if people want to go for him.
Yeah, he's the Series 4, so if you have the token for it, probably better. It depends if you have Annihilus and Phoenix Force as well, but considering Annihilus gets nerfed, it's difficult to justify pulling for it. Like, we'll have to see what happens. Definitely, like, Meek is 3,000 tokens, and alongside a nerfed card, so it doesn't look like people are going to open a lot of spotlights this
Yeah.
Then we have Grandmaster, which is definitely a card they want people to go for because they put it with Loki. They're gonna change Loki, but that change is just Loki doesn't work with the Collector, and we'll come to it afterwards, but actually might be good news for Loki, which is absolutely disgusting. But right now, Loki isn't necessarily good in the metagame because Loki likes when people are just playing good standalone cards that are used in a lot of ways. And right now, there are two bad news. Although there's a lot of good cards, there's even more of Thanos and InSheNaut, and these two are not really good. And the second problem is Mobius is very popular in the current metagame, and Loki hates Mobius. So it's January 24th. That's going to be far. And Grandmaster potentially could be a sleeper if it brings like a negative deck back, if it brings a heavy unreveal synergy or something like this. But we'll have to see. But that's potentially like the first card that might push the metagame in a different direction. I personally doubt it, but it could. Beta Ray Bill literally is a Tor, and the only way Tor has worked in the history of the game was alongside Lockjaw. So I doubt it's gonna push the metagame in a different direction. So overall, it really depends on the OTAs. But unless something happens this month, Blob or Thanos or Lockjaw, I guess, I have very little faith that another card is going to be able to top Kyra. But then there's also the possibility, if you don't like to play big guys, then you Kyra.
No, yeah, that's super helpful. Thank you. And then, I feel like I've read or heard somewhere that next month is expected to be pretty excellent overall in terms of the new cards coming in.
Analyze them yet.
Yeah, it's a ways in the future.
Yeah, well, Supergiant is absolutely stupidly strong. I mean, if they release it this way, I can already tell you that this card is completely going to break the game. Because you basically play this card on turn 5, and you have a free alias on turn 5. Which is pretty nice. You just make sure you have priority going into turn 5. You just fight for priority in the first 4 turns. Turn 5, you play Supergiant and anything else. Turn 6, you alias with priority, and you just kill a lane. That sounds kind of busted. And I've seen a lot of people say that it was weird that the unreveal was so strong for a 1 cost. So I think it's far enough that we might be surprised, and there's gonna be at least like 3 OTAs plus a patch on February 7th, likely. I'm counting it's every 5 weeks. So we have one on here. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, the patch is gonna be here. But yeah, so the cards that are data mined are extremely strong, but the possibility that they're not actually the way they're gonna release is pretty strong as well. Looking at the abilities, I mean, Call Obsidian literally says play me in a Thanos deck, So unless they have changed the metagame until then, this is only gonna make Thanos better. And this says you can Shang-Chi, so like, I mean, literally, if this card was in the game, it would be in every single Thanos deck with Scar, because that's probably one of the best cards you can think of. Like, you finally have a 4 cost which Thanos lacks. It's literally written "play me in a Thanos deck" on the card, and it works with Scar. There's everything you want. This is maybe one of the best card I have seen ever. I mean, Discord just wants this. I don't know which Discord, I don't know how to use it, but this is Electro with upsides for Discord and actual power. So, I mean, I would probably pay 10,000 tokens for Discord easily.
Yeah.
Or just, I'll like that week if they told me the only way you get Corvus is paying 4 keys, I would like, yeah, take 6. I don't care. Like, but yeah, February is looking absolutely stupid.
That's Electro Hell Cow, which is
when this is discarded, jumps to your lowest power location. Well, I mean, we just said this card was busted, so once you have Corvus Glade, why not go all in and pick this one as well? They literally work together, so might as well go all in. So, yeah, I mean, if we're going by this logic, I would say someone with limited resources, you pick Mayek, and then you pick Corvus and Proxima, and by the end of February, you probably can play the best discard deck, which should be a very good deck by this point. But once again, like, there's gonna be at least like 5 OTAs and 1 patch by the time we get there, and all these cards are data mined and not guaranteed, so we can only speculate.
awesome. Appreciate the rundown. Thank you so much.
No problem. All right, back to what we're saying. And today, basically, what we're gonna do is we're going to try and advance the Thanos problem, and we're gonna go on 2 angles. So, if we have someone that's already infinite and doesn't mind trying new things, I would love for us to potentially like test different decks that could be good against Thanos, whether anyone has idea or I can provide some, and then we can also test Thanos itself to one, try to refine the best list and potentially a good mirror list, and 2, to also understand why is it so strong through playing it, because we could like see what our opponents are doing that would annoy us, or we could see at times and be like, oh, in that spot, if someone did this, it would be a big problem. So, who wants to pick which side? Who wants to play Thanos and who wants to try to counter it?
I could join in about 5-10 minutes. I'm just finishing paperwork.
Sorry, your volume was real low. I think I heard that you had to go in 5 to 10 minutes. Oh, I read your auto message group coaching.
Oh yeah, I could join in about 5-10 minutes. I'm just doing some paperwork.
Okay. All right. I think Not For Long said he was building furniture. So, Digital Ocean, do you wanna play on either side?
Yeah, I can hop in for a few. Let me load it up here. Give me just a second. I'll get it going on the other PC. And yeah, I can run a Thanos deck, I think.
Oh yeah, because you said you have a limit.
I think
Well,
other than Kyra, I'm looking at this list and I've got everything on this list. Other than that.
okay. Well, the point of Kyra was to provide a kind of a counter to the mirror match. So she's pretty important. But we could try other ways to build the deck. Which
That's I can also run the counter if you want to point me in the direction you want a counter to go at.
are you seeing a lot of Thanos lately when you're playing?
Sometimes I feel like it goes in these 4 hour long spats of like an afternoon I'll see a ton of it, and then in the evening it's all InSheNaut or something like that.
Okay, what ranks are you playing at currently?
Oh, 90s.
Okay, so it should still be like the competitive. But yeah, if oh no, you said your save streak. What are decks? Oh, what are decks that could be strong against? Junk is historically good against it with debris and stuff. Uh,
Something a little good cardsy with Leech and um uh Shadow King and a bunch of stuff to just like junk and counter things up.
Probably like we could try a good cards Darkhawk because it's a Lockjaw deck, so knowing their synergy with rocks in their deck probably annoys them. Could do
Yeah, I got a list here that's got, yeah, Shadow King, the Darkhawk package, Rogue, Leech, and some other stuff. How about I give that a run?
rogue. I don't know if we especially against
All right.
Thanos
That's fair. Yeah, I can toss that. Another
would
three
want
tech. Yeah, I can swap Rogue for Cosmo maybe in that same slot.
probably want current Darkhawk list. Uh, where's Darkhawk? So Iceman isn't as good because we live in metagame with Mobius, and there is quite a lot of Killmonger, so might want to hold on one cost. Each makes sense. Iron Lad and Miss Marvel or play. They didn't run Mobius, so we could run that. Like we had Rogue, but we don't need it for Thanos, so we could run Mobius instead. Shadow King, Zabu, Jeff. Oh, and the list wasn't running Shang-Chi, so I guess Rogue just becomes Shang-Chi.
Yeah, that makes sense. I do not have Mobius, but I can
Oh,
figure something else to go in that slot. That's not a problem.
that's fine. Then do you have Jeff?
Yeah.
Okay, then let's just run it this way. And now we just have to figure out the last cards. We could run Magneto and Doom for proactive purposes. It's hard to gain priority against Thanos, so Alias is difficult. But Magneto can move their Lockjaw, which actually has a lot of upsides. Wait, I don't have Darkhawk in a Darkhawk deck. Extremely stupid. Shadow King would do what? Use Blob, so that's good. We can't actually run both. There's not really a need to run both because we have Zabu, so we could craft something. I guess less disruption. Yeah, and there are Thanos decks, so I guess Darkhawk makes sense. It's kind of annoying if they blob, but
But yeah, you try to leech ahead of that and you're
yep.
hopefully good to go as long as you don't cheat it out early.
Alright, so let's see if this deck is the solution to the current metagame. Do you need a code or can you just copy it?
I have it. I'm one card off. I'm figuring out what the one card is. I've got Korg, I've got Shadow King, Zabu, Jeff.
You have my screen shared with the list.
Yep. What do I have that you don't have? Oh, I have Magneto and I don't have um Black Widow. All right, cool. Let's do it.
I'm not even sure we need Black Widow now that we're talking about it, because it's annoying for them. But if they have Lockjaw, we just give them something to play behind it.
That's a good point.
So we'll see. We could start with it, see how it goes. But I guess like if we want to run something else, that's probably the card that goes away first. And maybe that's the Magneto, or maybe it's Polaris. This metagame, Polaris is good against Lockjaw, because you can move stuff to their Lockjaw, and we'll see. Or you mentioned Cosmo, which would also work for Blob. That could be a thing. Huh. Like Cosmo is both good and bad, because Cosmo is gonna deny some of their synergies, but that also means we can't Shadow King or Shang-Chi.
Yeah, it's true.
Huh. Would protect Miss Marvel, which is... I guess let's start with Black Widow and we'll adapt.
Sounds good. Do you want to send me a friendly battle code?
We can go on ladder if you want, or I mean, I could play Thanos as you wish.
Oh, either way, whatever you're feeling. If you want me to share my screen, I'm just going to have to do a little bit of computer shuffling, which will take 30 seconds. Either way.
Let's go for the share screen.
Okie dokie. I am going to leave, and I'll be back in 30 seconds.
Well, I'll just play a game in the meantime. So
perfect. Sounds good. Be right back.
Play with the exact same deck. Hopefully, we land a Thanos opponent. There we go. Right. We have Zabu. They don't. Are happy. Guess it's not Thanos deck, because probably would have played something. What is left in our deck? We have Darkhawk, Rock Slide, we have a lot of good cards. And we don't have Doom, so he can't go on Super Flow, so try your luck. That's fine. Or Black Widow. Patriot. Oh, they're gonna have Super Rocks. Of course, we're not running any ongoing cards because we're trying to go against that. And we're not running Mobius, and there's Elysium. That was just different purposes. So, kind of want to have Super Flow so I can just Doctor Doom next turn. But I don't want to play both my cards here, because then when I Doctor Doom, I lock myself. And that is annoying. So I guess I'll play Korg next turn. This. I'll go Doctor Doom. Well, Doctor Doom could lock me out. Oh, wow. Problem. That is going to be a big problem. Our cards are going to be extremely powerful. Jeff isn't very... Guess we Doom. And... Orgasm.
Hey, can you all hear me?
I can hear you.
Awesome. I'll be ready to go after this game.
Okay. Well, we're against a Patriot that is having the Stone Cold Nut. Because we're trying to beat Thanos, we don't pack any. So I could cancel both bonuses. Magneto would have been excellent. Leech would have been as well. Darkhawk too. I have Darkhawk, Rock Slide. Miss Marvel. I guess if we draw Miss Marvel or Darkhawk, we could be in business. Not gonna work on the left. Right and middle. Right. Valkyrie. Or we can move Jeff. But that is terrible. Well, we have Shadow King on the right. So I guess we can play. Because we were ahead. We could do this. And try our best. Alright, let's try our best. It's just 1 cube. Ultron. 5? 6. Oh, it's gonna be a tie. I lose the tie by so much. Their middle is absolutely insane. Alright, well. If Leech would have been points, we would have won. That is okay. Alright. Okay. Up to you now. Feel free to share your screen whenever.
Alrighty, can you all see my screen?
Right screen. Okay.
All right, and we go.
So when you're playing, if you can, try to get us through your thought process. Try to kind of make sure we can follow where you're going.
Sounds good. So obviously, there's two things I'm thinking about at the beginning. One, we have a Korg. Where do we want to go? I tend to go in a unknown location because I know I have a safe location for bigger things later. Having Korg and Squirrels together sucks for Miss Marvel, but I guess what are you going to do at this point?
Or you could play Korg in the middle because it's likely we'll play Miss Marvel. So it's a location.
That's a good call. The other thing that I'm thinking about from a competitive perspective is I am on the toilet and they are drinking water, so I think my title counters theirs.
Because you can have a way to just throw their water away.
That's exactly right. All right, so yeah, we're looking like Zabu into Miss Marvel is probably the move right now.
Well, it's
2
a
power
Thanos
on
deck.
left.
Kind of like the next turn, because it's a Thanos deck, I really like the give them a squirrel play with Viper.
Oh, sure. I'm gonna go Zebu right because I think 2 power into Soulstone is just kind of wasting a location.
And I mean the left is probably gonna be like where you give the squirrel. Oh wow. So that went from the Triskelion. Oh.
And perfect time to draw into Shang-Chi. We'll probably Shang next turn. Are you still thinking Viper left? Because Miss Marvel isn't going to be working right.
Yeah, that changes a lot. And also we won't have the discount. So if we play Miss Marvel, she's basically a 10. Yeah, I kind of like the Viper on. You don't need to play on Gamma Lab. It's very unlikely they can fail Central Park. I'm actually thinking, do we snap?
Yeah, I kind of agree.
Shang-Chi for the Hulks. We're gonna disrupt their left.
Let's see what happens.
All right, bye left location. So they have priority. And we just drew into Darkhawk, so unless they blob, the left is. Another question is, do we need to Shang-Chi those Hulks? Because I feel like Iron Man also wins the right. Unless they Shang-Chi.
You're probably right. And then the other question in my mind is Shang-Chi a nice surprise play on 6, right? We could Shang plus Shadow King to swing 2 lanes quickly if they cheat something out early and mid.
Well, the problem is you don't have Zabu anymore. So if you don't Shang-Chi now, what do you do? Darkhawk? You miss Marvel?
I guess. I'm leaning Shang-Chi, right?
Yeah,
I'd rather clear it out, yeah.
go for the temp. Okay, Lockjaw. Alright. Thanos. Do we Black Widow because we assume they're going to play behind Lockjaw this?
Yeah, I was thinking about either like Widow or Miss Marvel just to get a combination of power to mid and left at this point. I'm just a little nervous about Darkhawk right now without Leech to back it up.
We could just Miss Marvel left.
Oh, sure, I like that.
It's better to go left than middle because you know they're not gonna be able to rogue or anything.
Let's do it.
Still need to. They could win right with. That's the worst part of it. Is like we Shang-Chi 2 Hulks and they could just blob us on the right.
Honestly, my lean is towards retreat right now.
Yeah, but if we retreat this situation, we. How many cards do they have in the deck?
A lot, and only one stone is out. So
Wait, you don't have priority.
no,
You can Shadow King right if they blob there, you win.
that's a good call. So Shadow King right, and then
How do we 100% win left? Wait, we don't need to 100% win it. So Darkhawk loses if they blob, but
yeah,
Falcon plus Jeff plus 4, that's a tie. But if they blob right, you care because you're going to win the tie because your right is so big.
let's do it.
Be a blob. Let's go.
Oh, there we go.
We wanted to reach. They win by 6, but we win by 20. Okay. So that went out
Not
pretty. The locations were really good. Triskelion gave us Viper. There was a lot of good things.
true.
And
Let's keep rolling.
if the Darkhawk synergy is scary, maybe we could consider a junk deck with the same like package of cards, but instead of the Darkhawk synergy, we have the Nihilist.
Sure. Yeah, I've got most of the Annihilus junk packages. Um,
I mean,
I'm
of
thinking
course,
Korg
Nihilist,
right
okay.
unless there's a reason not to.
Well, if you want to play into unplayables, just because if an unplayable reveals, you have your Korg. Well, if it reveals on the right, you have an extra.
That's a good point. That's the thing I've always wondered about what the optimal strategy is, and well said.
Oh well, never mind. Korg will go on the right. Oh, that's a nice Doom.
Hellfire.
Okay, lots of Thanos. Perfect.
You love to see it.
So, would you rather play Rock Slide to the right or to the right? Because you can
That's a
play
good
it
question.
middle, but it's still gonna go right. Okay, and we get the good stuff for Thanos as well. Okay, that's annoying. Ooh.
Iron Lad mid probably. I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter, but
Darkhawk, Widow, Jeff, Shadow King. It does matter. If you get Shadow King, you really wanted the way they get the blob this turn behind Lockjaw.
oh, that's true. We don't have priority.
We never do because they keep going Lockjaw on turn 3. Oh. Wave, but
What?
doesn't work. Fuck. I
All
guess they
right. Well, I
didn't want
guess
to
we
fill
are
the right.
locked into Leech then for sure. And I'm leaning Snap here because we have one, and we're going to draw into the second. So if as long as they aren't able to blob here on 5, we have 2 Darkhawks and are feeling pretty good.
Well, they can't because the only way they get blob this turn is Lucky Lockjaw. Cards do they have in the deck? 13. Bad Leech. 12 out of 13. Probably. Right? We're gonna... Oh, that way. We can play another one. Get the brunt. Oh, we don't even need to play it on the right.
So it looks like our 2 moves are either Doom and try to spread them out, or Darkhawk plus Jeff.
The Doom gets you ahead on left and right, tight in the middle. Problem is, oh, no, Doom actually ties and +5 left. They play more than 5 middle or left, you lose. Pretty sure they will. Darkhawk Jeff, how would you? Way is what? Darkhawk to the right and hope they left.
That's not even going to get us there. Yeah, because if they put anything left over Jeff, which I kind of think they will,
There's Shang-Chi.
yeah, I think we kill it.
Oh, we can later, yeah. Never know. Maybe they leave because. Yeah, their Shang-Chi was.
Yeah, it's a good play.
Oh, we're still +2 against Thanos. We stole 4, we +2.
We'll take it.
Okay, that's a hand. Wait, why didn't we play
Whoa.
Korg?
Yeah, that was a brain fart.
That's such a good hand. And have the perfect location where Darkhawk in the middle. And
No, but we're going to get redeemed here. We can Widow plus Korg. Probably Widow right, Korg left.
you're playing a Darkhawk deck. You can't let them win. Asgard is literally -4 to Darkhawk.
That's a good point.
Chicken Zabu. Not InSheNaut. Lightwood.
Probably Rock Slide left, I guess. Or we could do Miss Marvel mid.
kind of want priority because, well, you need priority by the end of, because if by any chance they have Alioth in the middle, you're toast.
That's a good call.
What's left in her deck for Iron?
Leech and Jeff, not great.
Oh, Leech is like perfect timing.
That's actually true. Well, 50-50 on it.
Well, is it that bad to get a 4/6 can move?
That's true.
Do we just slam Shadow King middle because you have energy?
Yeah, why not? Just in case they try to sneak something in there.
Well, you could sneak it left or rather go left, but it's just that next turn you're probably gonna go 3. Wait, they. Hey, everybody leeches.
Nah, because theirs is animated, mine isn't.
So, our deck sucks now. Last draw is Jeff. How many cards are in their deck? Dorcock is an 8. Okay. They have 10 in the middle.
Probably still sticking with the 2/3s, Marvel and Rock Slide. I guess just pump it up left.
That was one. Leech and Jeff, King and Jeff. You think they can come back on the left?
What do they even have? I have no idea what deck we're looking at here.
Feels like something pretty similar to us. I mean, Magic can be a 3 cost for a lot of decks. And we don't know how many energy they passed last turn because we don't know what card they played. We just
That's a
know
good
that we
point.
really, really want priority.
I'm thinking one mid, one right.
Right. Oh. Okay. We'll take those. And that's usually like one of the things is that when the game is just for 1 cube, or even when it's for more, if you have more than 30% chance to win.
More than 30%. What's the math behind that?
It's a poker rule. Basically, wait, don't go into a game. Like, let's do it on. Okay, so imagine we're playing 4 games, okay? And the stakes are always the same. So let's say we're at the end of the game. The game is 1 cube, and if you go to the end of that turn, it's gonna be 2 cubes. You retreat 4 times, are at -4, correct?
Uh-huh.
You play every single time. You lose all times. You're at -8, right?
Yep.
Now, if you win 1 time, you're at -4 because you lose 3 times, -6. Win 1 time plus 2, -4. So actually, you lose 3 times and win 1 time is the exact same thing as if you retreated all 4 times. So if you have more than 25% chance, you should.
Got it. Makes sense.
It's just it was old poker rules at some point that people only play the 50-50s, but actually playing the 50-50 doesn't maximize playing the 25%. Well, at least there's nothing bad to playing them. Especially as sometimes, and that's something you No, you can't know. Your opponent is gonna leave the game, and they're just literally gonna give you a cube for doing nothing, whatever your decision was.
That's true. All right, should we jump back in?
Let's go back. I mean, I think you're the only one that can play today, so get all the playing time.
Yeah, appreciate all of the input here. This is all very helpful. Thank you.
Why these sessions were created. Shuri's Lab. We're not really good on Shuri's Lab. Because our best card is a zero base card.
Oh, say a prayer for Leech to come up.
This is a game where we just throw Shadow King and be like, alright, give us points. I mean, Shadow King is really good on Shuri's Lab on turn 6, though. But we have Shang-Chi as well, so...
But if we get to turn 6, we're probably going to lose both of them unless the other person magics or something gets us out.
True.
And no Infinity Stone in their deck, it looks like. Only 12 cards in the deck.
We just throw Shadow King.
Yeah.
Just hope something happens that makes... Like, maybe they didn't play anything. Did we ever snap them? Probably should have... Ooh.
Hello. Rock slide right. Let's junk it up, baby.
Oh, wait. You snap or they snap?
They snapped.
Why?
We have no idea. We haven't seen a single thing.
I still like Rock Slide, right? They probably like Sinister London a lot, but I feel like we do.
Yeehaw.
Right. So that's Tyra, but no Thanos. I've seen a few Shuri decks with Tyra.
Yeah, now I'm starting to worry that we threw the Shadow King early.
Oh, we have Shang-Chi.
But not for 6s.
Oh, you were not gonna have it for 6 anyway. What's in our deck for Iron Lad? Dorkhawk, Jeff, Dabu, Doom. That's it, right? We have 4 cards left.
Yeah. Or 5. Doom, Darkhawk, Black Widow, Jeff, Zabu.
Oh, Black Widow.
Yeah.
We just throw Miss Marvel to the right. She's the most points, and she's guaranteed. But I don't remember which one triggers first. Leech or Mindscape? Like if we play Leech on 5, do we
Mindscape and then Leech. So
Oh,
that they'll get my hand, and then my hand gets leeched in their hand.
That's not bad. Because our hand sucks. I can say it this way. Oh, maybe they're a blob ramps. Cards in their deck maybe 8. They draw 1, so like Darkhawk is a 14.
Yeah.
I mean, it's either that left and give them a bad hand.
I
think you have
They're gonna
to,
play.
because if you Darkhawk, they just...
Yeah, they're gonna play something big.
No, it's not they play something big. It's literally you give them Shang-Chi.
Just both left then, probably. Yeah, just points.
And also, if this turn they play Blob, Darkhawk is... Para animations. Very...
Agreed. We'll take the Miss Marvel, double Miss Marvel mid. My inclination here is Hulk, right? I'm not quite sure what else there is.
I mean, they... Wait, they're... Oh. Okay, can we stay on that screen for a second?
Yeah, you bet.
So they're at +9 on the right, and they know they won the middle. So we play a 12, so we're at +3. Maybe they didn't realize it. But Iron Lad just Iron Lad right. How do we beat that? Get plus, right?
Yeah, that's correct. And then the 50-50 doesn't matter whether it goes left or mid.
Yeah, because we can't win.
Free cubes.
That was literally 4 cubes. Because if they play, we would have lost 2. Instead, we won 2. Jeff? Oh, that works too. I heard it's a good 2 draw.
Any reason not to put it right?
There's several reasons. Nebula, we want to play into unplayables. Make sure Marvel is activated. Okay, so we should know what this is. Do you have any idea?
Oh, I'm trying to. I've seen Medusa lately, and I'm trying to remember what. I don't know.
Lockdown deck.
All right, yeah, going for priority, sure.
Yes, so you should expect stuff like Storm, probably Alioth on 6. They have priority, that kind of stuff. You really want to fight for priorities. Can't Alioth.
So then Miss Marvel's definitely our move right now over Iron Lad. Spread it wide.
Well, you could still play Miss Marvel next turn. I think I would Iron Lad right. Because the plus energy is super important.
Oh, sure, that's fair.
I think that's how you get priority.
Yeah, get a little extra tempo.
Yep. And you still have the whole Darkhawk package in the deck, which is... Oh, good thing we didn't miss Marvel Metal. Bad thing we can't leech. Jeff.
What do you mean we can't leech him anymore?
Well, it's...
Oh, God, now it's 6. Yeah, I didn't see that. Yep. Oh.
Well, you can leech them, but it just does nothing and probably loses the game. If they play Echo, they probably don't play Enchantress or Rogue. We could miss Marvel another lane.
That's true. I'm thinking Miss Marvel left and then Jeff and Jin right or something like that? Or Jeff and Jin mid?
They both miss.
Oh, that's true.
Don't we want to play Miss Marvel right? So they're Nebula down.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, on the left, we can still send Iron Lad there. Because that's the only place where it can actually move, because the middle is unmovable. They still don't have the +2. We're actually... Oh, wait, we can leech them.
We can leech them now, yeah.
Do we?
Just pat it right, I guess.
We said we wanted priority. Dr. Doom is pretty strong at taking priority. Literally, Dr. Doom says you can't Alioth me, I have priority. 100%. There's no way with 5 energy they can match Doomcore. No way.
That's true.
I think I would just Doom right. Or left for space sake. You have 2 spaces on.
Yeah, good call.
Oh wow, they gave out right. Oh no, they played. Okay, we're still ahead because difference? Yeah, we're ahead.
Yep.
Oh, Shadow King works. Removes 3 power from Nedusa, it's 2/5.
Yeah, and then we can move Lad somewhere and something else.
Or you could Jeff, right? What can they do to the right? I don't think they can do anything to.
I
If you move lad, they can. If you don't, they.
Yeah, if I move Lad, what's her name? Mystique wins.
Yeah, Doom.
But I actually like that thought. If we move Lad, Jeff in there still pads us enough that Mystique doesn't win. So he's got to go left, obviously. And then the question is, where does our last thing go?
It's either Dakin left or Shadow King middle, and your head on all lanes. So you
Yeah,
either
I
go
kind of
strong left, or you spread and force them to take 2 lanes.
I like to spread. GG's. Or not. Whoo!
Well, spreading obviously is weaker against Doom.
Yeah, it's true. Well, we got away with it.
Yep, I mean the map. I wouldn't have let you do it if I didn't know that was beating Doom because we had priority, so Alias wasn't a concern. So the other concern.
Alrighty. Nice.
Well, this deck's climbing for now.
Yeah, we're rocking and rolling. This was this is like 2 cards off of a snap take deck that I cribbed a couple weeks ago. It's been working great.
Yeah, good cards has been.
Zaboo, I guess.
Always a. Oh, Ravona. Okay, do you know what decks play Ravona? It's a good card when Camertage is a.
Oh yeah. Um, what is it? Oh gosh.
The 2 big suspects can be Galactus or negative. Galactus because they play the goblins and Iron
Yep.
and Profex.
And then Mr.
Negative
Negative.
because the
Yeah.
whole deck.
We'll see this turn. Do you like Widow left? Is that kind of what you're leaning?
uh,
There's a lot of good stuff still in the deck for Lad, but let's do it.
well, the thing is, Lad is always gonna. Well, Widow really annoys them for negative. Well, they would annoy both negative and Galactus because it forces them.
Yeah, we can cross our fingers that they don't already have Jane in their hand.
But now you could Iron Lad and you have all the rocks in the deck, so you hope you throw enough. Like if you land Rock Slide on Camertage, game is basically over.
Let's do it. It's got to be Leech here, right? Draw a bunch of zeros into their hand and kill them.
We have Leech. We have Doom, so we don't even need to play Metal, right? And
That's exactly what I was thinking. Any reason that's not the move? Yeah, there we go. That was quick. 18 seconds to a free cube.
Let us pray.
Look, I just want to say my technique there was impeccable.
Okay.
Sarah, so bounce maybe, or what else is running Sarah right now?
Sarah is the Black Knight deck.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay. Uh, Jeff right? Korg right?
Right, because right now you could fit Korg on turn 4 because you have nothing to. Like right now, your hand looks like Black Widow or Rock Slide into the.
Good call. We're still thinking Rock Slide plus Korg here.
Yeah, we don't need to show Darkhawk yet. Wait, Ravona plus Zabu.
Yeah, that's
and
I've
Sarah.
never.
So that's the. It could be the ongoing deck.
What ongoing deck? Like a.
Ongoing Tribunal.
Oh shit. Sure. Yeah. Well, if that's the case, they got a magic in the next turn or two. So yeah, let's Korg Rock Slide and see what they do.
You can see my screen right now. Something like this with Sarah in it. Some people don't run Jubilee. Cosmo in it.
Gotcha. So I'm inclined to Darkhawk either right or left because I don't want to hand them Miss Marvel and just right. We're gonna be punting mid either way, right?
Well, they have Super Marvel. If you play it, you just them. Sarah is the same. Darkhawk is the same. That's the problem. I think honestly, I think that deck just counters you not running ongoing synergy. Well, ongoing counter cards.
Yeah. So the only thing we can do right is Darkhawk either right or left. We're conceding middle and trying to win left and right.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, then next turn you're probably just gonna like move Jeff left.
Yeah. Nothing good left in the deck for Iron Lad. It's just Leech and Zabu. So yeah, I think Doom is just the play if we're going for it.
I mean, you have to account the fact that a lot of their cards are -3. I mean, they didn't snap, so. Yeah, you could try it.
Or we could
Just
slap Jeff in mid and we're contesting all three.
No, you're not contesting. Oh wait, I don't think. I think you want to go left, not right to. Oh, râler, qu'est-ce qui t'arrive? T'arrives à râler. T'amuses avec le chat? Râler, ça, madame. Wait, did they forget to put?
Seems like it.
Where are the points? Deck is.
Man, oh man, we do not like Dream Dimension here.
But if we had Mobius. Oh. What did he play? I've seen Yondu in some like Moon Girl Death kind of list.
Yeah, same. I've been seeing him a little bit the past like 2-3 days or so. So we're definitely saving Shadow King and Shang for the very end here. So Black Widow mid, I guess.
Yeah, that's fine. Non, c'est juste que j'ai la caisse. Arrête de me juger tout. Alright. Well, we have Shadow King. Which is K later on.
Yeah, I mean, my guess based on what we're seeing here is that they're gonna Venom in mid, right?
Absolutely fine by us.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of want to sit both of those and just Jeff mid for now and kind of
Oh, you don't
let
have
them.
priority. You could Shadow King Jeff mid.
That's actually a good point. Let's do that. And then yeah, we still have Shang. That's a spicy one. Let's see. No. Oh, what a heartbreaker. Well, we still took some power off of them.
And you get a 6 that can move.
Sure do. So Darkhawk is 8.
So 6 by game. That's still our best play this turn.
Yeah, I think that's doing nothing for us on right. So my call is left if we're gonna probably be shonging mid at some point in the future.
Well, right now I'm more lean. Depends what.
Well, this actually gives us some options because, right, Miss Marvel and Rockslide being the last two things in the deck both play good into Iron Lad. We could do that plus Shang left and Jeff wherever we want him to go.
Yeah, it's definitely. What's left in the Iron Lad? Marvel?
Miss Marvel and Rockslide. So the one dangerous thing there is if Jeff goes right and it's Miss Marvel, then we're losing Miss Marvel on right.
Yeah, but I mean, you probably just abandon.
Yeah. So then Jeff goes left, Iron Lad mid, and Shang left, and
Actually,
call
do
it a
we
game.
need Jeff mid? Do we need Jeff left? We're gonna Shang-Chi Def.
That's a good call.
Guess we just go for middle and left.
Yeehaw. All right, let's see it.
Because we're not gonna get Miss Marvel left. Okay, yeah. Take those. Blame.
Man, oh man, we are climbing.
Oh, you guys have to listen to talk to myself 45 minutes at a game. It's worth it afterwards. We play.
It's worth it the whole time, man. Appreciate all of the info.
Ooh. Oh, we actually have a shot at seeing the raft.
We do. Do we? Would you lean pushing for it? That always feels like fool's gold to me. But with a hand like this, we're actually pretty close to it.
I would go.
All right.
Also because you entice your opponent to go for it as well. Then you can adapt. Like if you see there are Thanos deck, you just start playing. Oh my! Someone
Love to see
really
it.
wants to win. Then you say, I'm helping you climb. We're doing this on. I'm not the one drawing Zabu ever. Could Black Widow actually help them tie raft? Because you basically give them a 0-cost card to play there.
That's a good call. So Jeff this turn and Black Widow next turn, probably.
It's better for the raft. It's worse for your energy use, but it's better for the raft. So
No, it's a good thought. It's a good thought.
I think as sick. Oh, good thing, because if we play Black Widow, we might have lost the raft altogether. Oh no, we would have Shadow King plus Jeff. Okay. Yes, we rock slide. Black Widow was.
Yeah, we're a little committed at this point.
We hope they don't have 2 cards to play. The Black Widow would have won the raft. Because we would have had Jeff. Ah. Depends what they play on it. Aww.
So they've already snapped. Since we have so we're not going to lose anything more by going to 6. So we could play Leech in the hopes that they got a more techie leaning free 6 and just kill it.
Well, we could also Leech because it doesn't kill. Does it kill the cost?
No, cost stays wherever it was.
No,
If your Scar gets leeched and you already have 110 down, I think it stays as a 4, things like that.
because that's
no,
based
that's
on
actually not true.
that's
No,
the
because like
ability.
if you get death, it goes back to 8. Yeah, all right, let's do it.
Kind of considering, do we want to go Iron Lad, Shadow King left, kill Carnage, get a shot at like double Doctor Doom.
No, yeah, I actually like that
And
because
then
we
you
have
want-
the only
wanna-
things left in the deck are Darkhawk, Shang-Chi, Miss Marvel, Doom. So if we put a mid, we're feeling decently good.
Then you want to move.
Yeah, Jeff is getting moved for sure. Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
but now, because if you get Doom, you lose Doom bottom left. Oh wait, actually no, that's fine, because if you draw Doom, you probably play it again, and we'll take it.
Hey, how about that?
All right, that's a penalty goal. Where do you play Darkhawk?
I guess right.
Would go left. Move Jeff middle.
You think we snap into this?
They still have a 0-cost turn 6.
That's true. and the null could go over top of us still.
Either that or I mean, I think it's this way we have to do it. The question only is Dark Hawk left or right, and that's always the same question. Do you solidify the 2 lanes you have, or do you spread hope to take one back?
I'm feeling solidify here.
Ha ha!
Incredible.
This is the best part of actually playing is you realize how many games people actually, which you never know if you retreat. But there are so many cubes to be won just because you play games.
And they were really trying to induce it there. I'm thinking Lad mid here. We've got Miss Marvel and Darkhawk both still in the deck. Black Widow, Shadow King, Leech. So kind of can't go wrong.
Box like what? That looks like InSheNaut. That takes +3 energy on. Probably out.
That's a good point.
Yeah, next turn we have 5. So. Hurt. Going.
Well, Leech is a double-sided sword against them because if they have InSheNaut, that nixes that, but kills energy production on Hulk and reduction on She-Hulk.
Very nice of them.
Wild.
Any energy to. Wait, they didn't skip anything this turn?
No.
Have a chance. How much do they need to +6? What? How the hell did we win a cube against that deck with +3 energy? That's no, not supposed to be this way.
Guess we're going Miss Black Widow here for the same reason we would go right on 2.
Probably, and because we want priority.
I'm back and forth between Leech and Korg Darkhawk here. Like, obviously, Darkhawk left plus Korg anywhere feels.
Darkhawk. I don't think you
Oh,
need to
that
that much.
and Jeff. So yeah, let's Leech left and see what they have to say.
I think it's either Leech left into or Darkhawk.
Yeah,
Leech
we
is
have op.
fine because it also opens Darkhawk Shadow.
That's true. I kind of think we should snap into this. I feel like we have a good advantage.
Literally, it's turn 5 and the only. I guess they really won the left. I guess they're really not good. They were probably planning on. If you're gonna play Doom, you don't need to move Jeff if you. Which is fine too.
My
Like move Jeff,
yeah, my
Darkhawk,
inclination was Darkhawk Korg.
Orc Metal, Darkhawk, right? Darkhawk is a 20. I mean, they probably leave. Oh no, they play.
And we say thank you for Cube.
Oh, Dark just 1v1 the InSheNaut.
You'll love to see it.
All right, let's.
What were they thinking there? Because
Nothing.
they saw that I had Jeff. They would write that was conceding middle plus left for them.
I don't think. All right, let's get to 98. Close out the session.
Sounds good. So Nidavellir changes my view on these things a little bit. I tend to like to pile things into it a little bit more. So whereas I'd otherwise put Korg middle here, I'd kind of like rather put 4 cheap things left, you know?
Well, it depends. Like, but Nidavellir is a commit. You don't go for Nidavellir and stop in the middle. You either commit to play 4 cards or like, all right, just.
And I
I
mean, we got
personally
3
like.
here. We got Korg, Zabu, Doctor Doom is 3.
I think it's reasonable.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not the kind of location where you half-ass it.
You,
You
yeah,
pick it.
totally agree.
You pick a side. Oh well, and
Well,
then
shit.
the game picks the other side for you.
So it does. All right. Well, I guess Zabu right then, just to give Miss Marvel something to hold on to.
That's always the best. Then you whole turn thinking about something. Like, oh, you really thought about this one? Oh my god, game! Come on.
Rude. Shadow King, Jeff, Black Widow, Rockslide, Darkhawk, Shang-Chi in the deck. So
You could
2 of
try
those.
your luck at a Shang-Chi lizard.
That's spicy. All right, why not?
I mean, every other card is just good to get. The only one that's kind of conditional is Shadow King, which has no condition here, and
Yeah,
Shang-Chi that lucky kills lizard.
yeah. Why not? Let's do it.
Take the like extra 5 or 10, and if you don't have priority, oh, take it. Very much take. Ah, we didn't. Jeff.
Not bad at all. So Miss Marvel mid, I guess, and then we can move Lad if we have to.
You can move, lad. You still have Duke. You still have Jeff. You have plenty of.
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh, we have to keep. Add. So Doom would give us. Another question. No or has
I
the
mean, this is
nice
looking.
benefit of care about Alias.
Yeah, and this is looking like a pretty techie deck. I would kind of lean towards leeching to just take all the shit out of their hand. Yeah.
Lad copy Jeff. That can
It can, but then we're conceding it.
Yeah, but that means middle we're just picking the lane we want.
That's true.
Because otherwise, to win left, have to play Jeff there. Nebula's gonna tie it if you play into it.
Oh, that's a good point.
The only it's either you move Lad and yes, or you don't move Lad and Jeff left Rock Slide or Black Widow.
I think Doom.
I like this more because it also plays. Oh wait, I was gonna say it plays better if they have Jeff. Probably got because this play loses their Doom. I think it's better to not move Lad and go. It loses because this deck
Like that.
doesn't have many. We have priorities. We care about Aliath. Their deck doesn't have cards, basically. Power. 10 is. We would have won it. Terrible play, but. Oh, wait, we're so. We did all the math and we already knew that the card that was.
Oh, that's true.
Iron Lad told us. Alright.
Iron Lad did tell us. You're so right.
Okay, so that's the sign that session.
Well, this has been fun.
Yeah, 98. Where did we start? 95, 94?
94.
I mean, what did we play? Hour? No. Minutes?
Yeah.
No ranks? Take it. Consider that a success.
Yeah, man, this has been awesome. Honestly, this was one of the things that kind of pushed me over the edge to sign up for premium on Snapzone. So, yeah, this is awesome. Thank you so much. Definitely make it back again sometime soon.
Feel free to join whenever you want. The usuals were not here tonight, but we have a nice little group of folks that are completely crazy, but in a nice way.
Love to see it. Awesome. And dude, I love all the articles on the website. I love what y'all are doing. So thank you so much for everything you do.
Oh, thanks a lot for the kind words. And on this note, because you weren't here at the very start, I'm gonna say bye to YouTube. Thanks for following us through almost 2 hours. And I hope we managed to do something for the metagame, because this deck definitely put in some work. And I don't think we faced a bot. Maybe one? I don't know. I'm still not decided on the destroy that game on. Otherwise, I don't think there were bots. It was competitive. Alright, bye bye, YouTube.